Hey guys, Greg here, Underground Graphics. Today we're going to show you the Bronco Mud Splatter Kit. So this is a kit we've had some people ask about if we were ever going to do a digital mud or like that Raptor style mud. I wasn't sure if we were going to do it or not, but we had enough people send in some photos. So we tried to replicate what we saw and put this pattern into the windows. If you've got the hard top, if not, it's just going to come up on that glass. You don't even have to use that if you don't want to, but it is going to come with the kit. It is a 4 pieces per side. We also have this for a 2-door as well. This is the first time we were actually going to be fitting it. So it's been designed for both. This is kind of our test fit, but again, this will work for the install video. I already noticed that we're going to raise this handle up just a little bit as it's starting to touch a little bit right here. And I've got that line right where I want to. So I'm going to lower this down so these meet up, and I'm already kind of hitting that handle. So we'll have that adjusted in our production kit as well. This is kind of based with the template we did for the drift kit. So if you notice, this back pattern is that full back of that drift kit, if you've seen that kit, which is that solid black. So again, it's not going to wrap around to that rear side, but it is going to have a nice contour that goes right around that taillight. You are going to need to use that heat gun a little bit to soften this vinyl to get this to tack right here along that edge and kind of follow that line. Again, with our demo kits, we're usually using control tack. So this is a calendared film. This is not the same film we're going to be sending you. You will be receiving the 3M 2080 wrap film, so it's going to be a lot softer, a lot more conformable than what I'm using here on my demo template, if you will. So again, that rear piece and they are going to be cut to fit. I've got these overlapped already to make sure we've got enough room to come over, so you can see my overlap here. Basically just at what's at about a 1/4, 3/8 of an inch to the next panel. Same thing, you know, going back the opposite way. You're going to see those pieces are going to need to line up right about there. And again, this is sitting right on that fender. If you want to take the fender off, you can, but I like that on there as it helps me guide that to where that's supposed to be. So this is one of those things too. Measure, 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 measure twice, measure 3 times, measure 4 times, and apply this once. This is a dry install film. Like all of our kits, they're always going to be a dry install air release wrap film. Once we learned about this years and years and years ago, we loved it, and again, it's all what we sell. It's going to be a cast film. It's going to be a premium film, long lasting. It's going to be fantastic. This door piece, as you can see here, we are doing this in one piece. I have just waxed this, so I got to get some good tape on there. So you'll have to do a splice on there, and again, I'll show you in the video how to get that splice nice and clean. And then as well, we have the hood graphic up here. So again, wanted to take that same element on that mud splatter. We just reversed it out on that solid black hood, so at least you're getting some protection with that non-glare matte black if you choose to do the non-glare matte black. I think that's the color for this kit. And if you've noticed, we now have a white Bronco. So all the white vehicles we've had in here, we're noticing that those colors seem to work a lot better for our use, so we did trade up. And that we now be working on white vehicles. So yeah, this is kind of cool. We're excited to get this one on here. This would be our first kit on this vehicle. Again, just a template, but I think it's going to be awesome. And this will be called, again, the Bronco Mud Splatter. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, pre-prep is just like we always do, 10% alcohol, 90% water. I've already got that pre-mixed in here. We did go through and wipe down with a microfiber towel. Just want to get those contaminants off. If you're ceramic coated, make sure, do a test. In most cases, vinyl does not stick well to ceramic coating. We found with the customers that are coming in that are ceramic coated, we can do a light buff on that, like with a polishing compound, and go back and check that tack, and it's been good. But again, I would contact your detailer who did your coating and talk to them about that before putting on a full kit. We do like to put the vinyl on first and then put the coating on after the vinyl. That way you've got everything protected. However, if you're doing a high-end ceramic coating, put your vinyl on, then do the coating, and then you decide you want to take the vinyl off, you're going to have another issue on getting your coating even, and you're going to see the lines where the coating wasn't on the vinyl. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to go ahead and start from back. We'll come back and hit that hood. That'll be actually really quick. We've done those hoods several times. We talked about those tools. Again, the alcohol water mix for the prep solution, pair of scissors, the blades. I think we're going to start offering these tools on the site. It should be very soon. I know we've got everything here. You just need to get that labeled. The squeegee, you will be provided with a white squeegee. This is not the squeegee. And then we're having a felt edge that's also available on the site if you want to go that felt edge. You don't have to have this. This is just nice if you're going off onto the paint. But again, you can use that hard squeegee on here. Just be careful on that paint not to go crazy over it. You'll get some light marks. But again, even on the vinyl, on the matte films, you do want to be careful with that plastic on that film. Once this transfer paper is off and you're going directly on the vinyl, you do want to be careful. If you don't have the felt edge, you can actually wrap your shirt around it, wrap a microfiber towel around it, and it does the same thing. Lots of masking tape. You see we've already got some of this laid out. I typically like to just run this all the way down the vehicle so I have it right in front of me where I'm going to need it. Yeah, just your standard 1-inch 3M masking tape. Doesn't leave any residue as long as it's on there short term. And a heat gun. Again, that heat gun is going to be for that rear edge. As we get into this spear in here, we want to make sure we got that all the way in there. So once we're in there, when we're done, we're going to post heat that. And if we see anything come up, we're going to need to make sure, let that cool for a second, go back, reset it, check that heat again. But the heat's going to kind of set the memory on that adhesive. Talk about the windows, optional, but they are going to come with the kit. So anyway, enough talk, let's get going. I'm going to go with scissors and a squeegee, and I'm going to start right here on this door. And like I said, I've got this one already set up, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that there. When I get to here, I can pull that up a little bit, go back, tack that, and then pull this back out of the way. And again, you can see this one, they need to get that handle raised up just a little bit, but we're going to be fine just for this demo. So I'm going to do a big hinge on this. So I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go top to bottom on this. So with that, I am going to go ahead and pull this up and get this out of the way. I really just want to put that there for now. And I'm going to hinge this. We just had that lined up with that last piece. And again, I pulled this up quite a bit on the just a little while ago in the file, so we should be good to go once that kit comes out to you. And I really want to keep these here as just as marks, as like a lineup, so we know where that's supposed to be. I'm going to go ahead and just tear that tape. I really should do it this way. So make sure I know where I'm going to be at. I still can't get that. We've got some new detail product we've been using, and it is very slidable. Makes that paint really smooth, I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Make sure you're cleaning with that alcohol water mix. I really just want to get this top piece just set so it's kind of tacked. You can see I matched up there, I matched up there. I'm going to kind of lightly tack that. Go ahead and hit this top piece, overlapping strokes. And this is the one that's a little bit trickier. And there's that mark there. I've already lost my pieces down there at the bottom. But again, I'm already tagged, so I know this isn't going to shift now. I want to make sure we're up on this, and now I want to go into that seam. Make sure we put that into that spear. I call that the spear. And make sure we get into that spear. We want to feed that into that channel, so we're not putting any stress on that vinyl. And once that's down, we come back on those strokes. And we do these videos to show you what to expect. Obviously, if you're uncomfortable with that, there is a QR code, I believe, on the cards that are included in the kit. If you scan that, it'll give you a link to a 3M certified installer in your area. If you have any questions on any of this, just give us a call. And since this is just little pieces, you really can just go right over those I know Gian, he was just doing some work on this earlier, and we sprayed that detail spray in here, and that's why it's so slick. It's not letting stuff stick to it. It's almost like a ceramic coating. There is some ceramic in it. And sneak preview, we are going to be offering our own detail supplies here really soon, which are formulated to work specifically with vinyl. When you're pulling this mask off, again, don't pull towards you, pull it 180 degrees. You can see this is already wanting to pick this up. And again, that's the detail spray we had under here. If this is going to be a permanent application to my vehicle, I would have done a better job making sure that that was off of there. But again, most likely this will be off 20 minutes after we put this on to do the next kit. So before we open this door, we want to make sure that we cut this panel here. And we talked about that earlier. And make sure we've got good adhesion. And that little piece will just roll in. Depending on the blade you have, you can either, if you have just a standard X-Acto blade, you want to run the top side of this blade on that door and bring that in just a little bit, start that cut, and just drag evenly. So you're not cutting, you're just dragging lightly on that. And then we can tuck these in. Now we can open those doors. Let's tuck that, tuck there, tuck there. Now we can open up that back door. Now if we were using our wrap film, we would warm this up, and we still can. This will soften the vinyl. Make that a little easier to roll that around. And on the inside of that door as well. Alright, this piece here for that window. As you can see, that's cut to fit right there. And again, this is, you can either hinge that again, or you can just peel it and let's just go. And we saw this and I thought that was kind of a really cool accent. That back piece, this is where we want to make sure we get these lined up. So I'm going to put that tape there for that line up. Cut that over. I'm going to go ahead and hinge. I'm going to go top to bottom again because we're still got to get that piece to lay in there. You can see that slight difference between this point and this point. That's where that's going in there tucked. So that's why you do have to make sure you feed that in there. And I'm gonna cut. You can use that squeegee for this, or do that. Make sure your hands are clean too. I don't think I discussed that earlier, but also if you're touching the back of this adhesive, that'll pick up anything that's on your fingers and will stick to that adhesive, and then when you lay that back down, you're going to see that in adhesive, and that's going to be dirt. So make sure those are clean. Make sure I'm right there, right where I want to be there. You can just tack that. Then we go right on top of that spear. Yeah, I can feel that gas cap right there. Just go right over it. You can use that hard edge as well. Right here, I want to go ahead and just leave that hanging. That's that spot we're going to need a little bit of heat to work that down. And again, that gas cap there. The great thing about this vinyl is we're not worried about that air release. We can just kind of push that around and worry about any air in there. We'll release that once we get this transfer paper off. Again, I'm going to just pull back about half of that. Make sure I get this in that crease. Match up right with that. I'm right on that. Now we can go ahead and pull the rest of that liner off. Let gravity do its thing and start working back and forth. If you saw, we're kind of working that center out on this section here. Got a little bit of a fender flare, on this body line here, so work your way through there. Fender, feel that fender line and kind of follow that curve. Now that side is still loose, so I want to pull from this side. And actually, let's go ahead and I'm going to open that door. And this side I can tell doesn't have that detail spray on it. Nice and slow, that 180-degree angle. Watch these points here. See, that's going to pull that up, so just make sure you watch that so you don't peel that whole piece up. And then if we need to pull, that's just in that little recession there. We'll tuck that there in a minute. Same thing there. Took another point with it. Again, as long as you pull with the vinyl here, That'll be fine. Just let that hang there for a minute. We'll come right back to that. Now once that mask is off, that's when you do, it's nice to have that soft squeegee. So you're on that vinyl. You don't want to scratch that vinyl, so just, you can use your thumb or go back there. We're going to have another cut we're going to have to do right here. So be real careful with that one too. We're going to tuck that up under there. So as again, this is kind of showing you those areas you're going to want to make sure you're going to clean real good. Get that alcohol all up inside there. And again, if you want to take that fender off, you can, but you really don't have to. Alright, so I was just going back over this gas cap. I'm going to make sure, see there, I had a little bit of bubble in there in that spear, and that came right out. And we'll come back and trim that up last, but as I'm on this little piece back here, again, I got to tell you, this is our calendared film. So this film is not designed for contours. The film that you will get with your kit will be the 3M 2080 wrap film, where this would be a whole lot easier. And I really just wanted to do this to test the fitment, like on that handle area, and see how this laid. So here we're just going to kind of work this out. And with heat, this should be a lot easier, but this film isn't the best with heat. So we're just going to work it. And there we go. I'm just going to warm that up again to soften that material. It makes that roll a little bit easier. Now let's go ahead and hit this last piece, which is the window. And again, just like our flag decals and some of the other stuff we have done for that window, this is cut right to that template, so makes this really easy. Same thing, we're going to hinge this. You could probably just hand do it if you'd like, but again, with that hinge you've got a little bit more control with that. So let's go ahead and pull this back. So once that's hinged, you know it's not going to shift. And stay right in the area of that window. And we did give a little bit of a tolerance. You got about a 1/4 inch of play. Sometimes I think the hardest part is just getting that mask pulled up. There we go. I think we've got all of our 4 pieces on. Last thing we're going to do is this gas cap. So again, probably should have done the good vinyl for this demo. It'll make me work for this. I want to get as tight as I can with that adhesion. And now I'm going to... I've got a little bit of a cheat on this because I've got this rounded edge at this tip of this. You're probably not going to have that, so you're going to have that edge kind of like this, which again, we can do that too. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to go right in the middle, and like we did on that door, kind of drag around that edge so I know where that side's going to be there. And I'm going to drag slowly along that edge. Start that again here. Now here, coming on That angle is going to be a little bit tricky, so I'm going to start on this side. I'm also right-handed. And then this one's going to be tricky again. Now we can go back with that heat gun. And that'll tuck right in. Again, that wrap film is a little bit easier to use, a little bit smoother. Let's go ahead and get towards the front and we'll knock that hood out. Alright, so for that hood, remember I hide that place, but I'm going to go back and make sure this is clean. So you got that alcohol water mix. I can feel some dirt on there, so make sure we get that slick detail off of there. Now I have done these hoods for almost 3 years now on these Broncos, and I know exactly where these things are going to fall. Find that perfect center. And we do this where there is still paint showing at the top, and again, I know exactly where this place is. And our hinge is going to go right to left, so same thing kind of as I'm standing, top to bottom. And I just need a little bit of tack on that. There's scissors, that squeegee, and there's that little cut trick I do. I like to just cut that tape so I have a little line up there. And if you want to stand on a tire, you can. A little bit of a balancing act. This is never super easy. A little sketchy here, but you do want to try to be on top of this. We're going to go ahead and keep that up just a little bit until that gets tacked. There we go. And start working our overlapping strokes. And this is where I like that, again, that soft edge of that. Now you can still do this. You just want to be a little bit more careful about coming off over the edges. Now that I'm tacked, I've got half of that down, I can go ahead and take off my masking tape. If you didn't see it in the video, we're using these little ladder steps that we can kind of walk along and right in front of the tire. Pull that back, hold that just top. You can see that corner again where I want to be at. So I'm kind of holding it on that corner. Use those overlapping strokes. Pull the rest of that off. And we didn't talk about temperature. But most of the calls we get when they made a mistake, it's because they're doing this outside in the sun, or they're doing it on a hot day, and of course it's extremely hot right now everywhere. So this really does want to be, installed low 70s. And if you've got a garage, try to get it cool in there in the first thing in the morning. But the heat will give you all kinds of trouble if this is hot. I think we're about 70, 74, 75 degrees. And then there's that 180 degrees. pull up that mask. Go back and check. Make sure it's all down good. Now, if you want to get really fancy with this, we can do this kit as a 2-color and do that matte black background with orange splash or orange accents, or add a second color to it, but I really think this is good just how it is. So here's another spot here. We're in our production version, we're going to smooth out these lines where they're rounded and we're not left with those sharp points here, 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 and up here. We'll smooth these out so when you're going with a towel and you're cleaning, these aren't going to catch on that towel. But guys, I think that's about it. So that's the hood and that's the mud splatter install. All right guys, so this is the Bronco mud splatter. I think that install looked like it was about a half hour for this side, so really should be about an hour, hour and a half if you're going to have someone install this. If you're going to do this for your first time, I would set aside 2 to 2.5 hours. Again, we really didn't do a proper prep on this. This is just for me, was an install that we're just showing you how to do it. This is going to come off here shortly and we're going to go on to our next kit. But again, I think overall this is a great design. I love the fact that for the hardtop, it's going to go back up into that back window. If you don't already have a flag or something else there, it's great. You don't have to have that on there and you still get that splatter effect. In addition, it comes around, it follows that curve of that tail light real nice, follows that real well, right along that fender well. It's basically a 4-piece plug-and-play kit. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. We're always here Monday through Friday, 9 to 6 Central Time. Shoot us a message, shoot us an email, and yeah, be happy to go over it if you have any questions. Thank you.